Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it has been a while since I have a video up of this van. This van is now finished. This video now will cover full demonstration of building the engine. So this is part 4. It will be very long, a long process. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible through all the different stages of actually rebuilding the engine. So at the end of this video will come a full walk around of the van after I show or demonstrate the engine running. So I'm going to do a final walk around of the van, everything that I done up in it, and it was a lengthy process, a long process. So I'm not going to do a full walk around of it now, but I'm going to say, if you see me on the road, give your friend a hit. Yellow banana, yellow van, all this. What else is the term to use? Is it cheese block on wheels or cheese and wheels? Well, that's what it currently looks like, a big yellow bit of cheese on wheels. So moving on now. So what else do I have to say before I move on? So I don't remember, hey, my head's away with it. I've done that much work. So in the future now coming, I can get on with my projects and I can move on and do all my really, I call them unique projects. They will come now soon. Do you enjoy them because they are unique? I'm going to enjoy presenting them because they're mine and I spent so much time on them and invested so much of design before I even built them. So this is the van. If you see me on the road, give your friend a little hit or hit the like button, the subscribe button too if you want to see more interesting projects in the future. So these projects are all over my van. All over it, right down the other side, right down. The whole van is layered of my projects. Some of them aren't on the van, some of them is covered up on the van. But that's it. I'm going to go now before people think I'm mad in this car park because it's currently Sunday and there's a graveyard up there. So see me walking circles around the van. So please enjoy the video. It's going to be quite long. There's a lot of mechanical work in it, engine building. I'm not going to go into pure details on it, but it's interesting. Enjoy. Okay y'all, so I've the carpet rolled out, the red carpet, or black carpet shall I say. So I've the van now stripped out, ready to blast. So basically what I'm going to do here is hit the areas that I never done, or I couldn't do with the engine and the gearbox. When it was bolted into the van. So now that it's out, I will get this chassis leg done a little. As you can see, the surface rust on it. I'm going to treat it with dinitrile rust inhibitor. You can see down here at the bottom of this leg, there's a wee bit in here too, so it'll take about 5 minutes to do this. And then I will treat it with dinitrile. I will take pictures through the stages. First things first, I'm going to drop a subframe down. It's only sitting on with 4 bolts. Okay everyone, so I have barriers or barricades up to protect my new shocks, springs, calipers, powder coated calipers. Basically I don't want to be hitting them with a sandblaster. So I'm going to direct the sandblaster just towards the legs and hopefully not going through these holes and stuff. So after this is complete, I'm going to treat it with dinitrile rust inhibitor. Then I will move on in there to look at the hip of the blaster. It's not that bad, so I have the rest of the van done apart from this. So after this I will continue with the engine rebuild, complete refurb, replacing rings, everything, injectors, fuel pump, turbo, everything. So that's it. I don't want to record sandblasting this because it's a wild mess. Destroy the camera too. Under the bonnet, the engine bay is all blasted where it needed. So what we'll do now is we'll just put a really nice coat of this on. Rust inhibitor, really good. Far better than the hammerite stuff that you get. So I have a mask on here, so you have to bear with me from the voice might be low. So basically just going round everywhere, putting a nice wee mist on, and that's all I'm going to do with the camera because I don't want to destroy the camera. I have to keep the camera for the projects. Okay everyone, so we have our stone chipped and all finished, ready for the engine. Well, I need to build the engine yet. The engine's 1,000 pieces. So that's it all finished. The bulkhead, strut tops, very windy now. That's it. Okay all, so today, whilst I wait for my other parts to arrive from Germany, I am rebuilding this turbo, or replacing it with a cartridge. The new cartridge has new seals, bearings, obviously all in it. So basically I'll be placing my turbo cartridge into this old housing. The turbo cartridge I'm using is Millet. I think it's a company in the UK. Yeah, made in the UK. So it looks like good quality cartridge here, as you can see. Need to make sure I don't bend these wee vanes or propellers. Flange cleaned. Our seat for the turbo cleaned and ready to be placed into this manifold. Okay everyone, out here on this lovely day, replacing the cartridge, the turbo cartridge and the turbo housing. So I have it now replaced. I have it, really see here in the camera, I have it all nice and sweetened up. Well, I can adjust it for these pipe positions, the high pressure oil pipe and the return oil pipe. I can slacken these bolts to position it when it's on the engine. And then I'm using my Dremel, 8200 Dremel, battery Dremel, just to go around it, give it a lot of frozen remove. It's already done, but I'm just demonstrating here. Okay everyone, so we have my old engine block here. Doing my initial test on it. I find a fault, serious fault actually. So we have this gauge here set. So basically it's just a T-handle, and I've set it to the bore and down deep depth in the piston, the top of the piston in there, as you can see. And when we bring it out up to the top here, we have a quite significant wear, especially across the load areas. So if I go across the gudgeon pin here, you can see there's quite a bit of wear. So what I've done here is I have just purchased another engine block. It's only a cylinder one now of this block. So I've measured this one already, and it is quite fine. Not as bad as that one. It's not as excessive. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to pull a sump offer and take a sump offer and check the main bearings, connecting rod bearings, and I'm going to check the piston rings. Okay, what a mess we have with these diesel engines. There's parts everywhere. So I got my other engine block. I already have it measured, the bore, gudgeon pin, second from this way, this side of the gudgeon pin, and perpendicular to the gudgeon pin itself, so the area where the loads is extruded on. That's it. I have to build one engine now, one good engine. And with this engine I got a solid flywheel, which I bought from Germany, so made a wee mess up there, but who cares. It was only £300 for the kit, so the whole kit new only. I say only, but it's a lot of money. So I didn't realise I was going to get a solid flywheel in the engine that I got. I also got a gearbox, which I don't need. So I'm in the middle of stripping this head. I'm going to use this head with that block, with all new internals, new rings, bearings, everything. The reason I'm using this head is because I don't know, the injectors is easy to get out of it. Even though I'm going to clean the ports or the bores where the seats where the injectors sit in, I am also going to just replace the head completely and get this head skimmed. Make sure it's perfect before I put it back together. Basically I'm just pulling the injectors out here now with the injector pullers. So that's it. Let me see this side. Okay everyone, so I'm ready to strip this engine here. So first things first, I'm going to check the connecting rod bearings. I'm going to then move on to piston rings and then the main bearings. So if the crank needs to come out of this engine, it will come out. But in the meantime, I'm going to take this oil pump off. Simply we're removing 4 bolts, or sorry 3 bolts, and a wee bolt in here. So here we go. So this timing pulley also needs to come off at the top here. You see, this timing pulley needs to come off before you get this casing off. So to do that might be a wee bit difficult. So the old engine I already have the timing pulley off. So see if I might how to take this off. Right, it's quite tight in the shaft, you see, and I don't want to damage the plate that aligns the time belt to the pulley. Okay everyone, so I had to stop the camera there because I noticed that this timing pulley was seized. So I'm just going to demonstrate how I release this pulley on the shaft So instead of trying to use the casing to pull the timing pulley off so it doesn't crack it or abuse the seal below. So what I've done here is basically down the side of the keyway a wee bit of WD-40. Let me get the words out there, and you can see the rust is running out. And also, not too much heat, you don't want to destroy the seal below. So just give the pulley a wee heat. I've already heated it here, but just sort of expands it a wee bit. Then what I do then is I go back and forward. This pulley was extremely tight before I started doing this, so I'm using a bit of nylon block. Back and forward action. You can see the pulley is now nice and free. A wee bit more WD-40 down the side of the pulley. See the rust running out there? It's very dark in here today. This garage, I open the door. So the pulley now can nearly be lifted off the hand. To be basically the rust has seeped out of the heat and the WD-40. So basically it's still quite warm. I could slide this off with my hand now, and believe it or not, it was completely seized on a minute ago. There we go. So that's the oil pump off, now ready for the connecting rod bearings. Set this over here somewhere. Okay, so ready to remove the pistons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 4 of them out and lay them on the bench here. Removing this, I believe it's the part for the oil dipstick. Well, if it comes out, there we go. So now, piston 1 first. Let me just demonstrate what I'm doing here. So on the top of the crank I'm putting a bolt on to turn it. Nice and easy. The nuts and the washers are just a spacer. So I'm going to turn it here now. Whoa. That engine's very tight. It was lying on a scrapyard for 5 years. Still very tight of itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the caps of the main caps off and check the main bearings and the connecting rods. So we're going to start with piston 1 here now. What I like to do with piston 1 is put it up the top dead centre. There we go. I'm used to working at Honda engines. This is very strange, very tight. Believe it or not, this well, sort of worried me that this engine had no oil in it. When I got it from the scrapyard, it had about half a litre even. So So it's making me think that this engine run dry. So what I'm looking for here now is an extension bar just to give us a wee tap. The reason I put the piston up the top dead centre here is so when you're tapping it out, very tightly. See, it's going over the. It's going over the. What do you call it? Carbon. It's nearly out, so I'm going to hold it anyway and put new rings in it, maybe. So we probably should give the carbon a wee clean first. So that's it, more or less out there now. The bearings are very sticky. Very sticky and gritty. No wear in it. I think it's just 'cause it's lying a long time. So it's probably better to take them out and give them a wee clean. Okay, so had to stop the camera there and go get 2 pieces of rubber. So basically what this is a 3/8 extension bar, approximately 200mm long. Well, 170mm long, whatever, but so a bit of rubber. This is to keep the connecting rod bolt, the threads from hitting the crankshaft journal. So what I'm doing is I'm sliding it over the bolt, or the stud in the connecting rod, and I'm tapping the piston out. When I'm doing this, I should probably take the camera off and show. When I'm doing this, I also have another piece of rubber over the thread. So this is just good practice to keep you from damaging the journal, leaving marks in it with the thread marks even. So the threads are quite sharp when you're tapping it out. So still, you don't want to be the threads putting pressure on the journal itself. So you have to be careful still, even with the pieces of rubber, making sure you don't fall off. So the pistons are quite hard to come out because that one's out now, but it's full of carbon. As you can see there, I'm very dark in the shade today, as you can see, but you can see the carbon around the piston here. So what I'm going to do now is gently take this out. Should probably put the other piece of rubber on the thread, because you're not really doing any damage now at this point, but good practice to eliminate error, to remove any error. So bringing the camera around here now. So I have to do this with the 4 pistons. I could probably give them a wee hone at the top of the cylinders to remove the carbon or at the top off the bore itself. So gently taking this out here. Okay, so now moving on to piston or connecting rod 2 and 3. What I'm going to do here now is rotate the crankshaft 180 degrees. So you can see there that the crank is actually sitting on the bench, not the block. So it is rotated there now. I should point out, it's probably good not to turn the crankshaft when you have the caps of a connecting rod and the connecting rod is in the bore, because you could end up damaging the crank against the threads of the connecting rod. So now, same thing again. Slackening the bolts, or sorry, the nuts, and applying the wee pieces of rubber and tapping each piston out. So same thing again. We'll go with piston 2 first. You can see here I have the caps for each connecting rod marked 2, so don't mix them up. So just in case I'm not replacing the bearings, keep the bearings in the same place. So these nuts will need replaced again, going by the manual. So you can see there's no significant wear on these bearings. Sticky, but quite sticky, alright. There we go. So now moving on to inspection. Okay, so We have now completely removed the pistons. Next step is to remove the crank to inspect the main bearings. Also I want to hone the bores, so to do this, to save me from smacking into the crank itself, which can happen, but the crank set with the piston journals down on each cylinder when you're holding it, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to take it out for handiness because I'm replacing the crankset at this side and everything. So rather than something poking it out, I'm going to do the job right. So now starting with the gun, working from the inside out. These all have to be torqued down again. Making sure not to drop a socket on the journals. Crisscrossing. Technically crisscross. So we're slackening the crankshaft in a nice even balance. So I have this plastic laid out now for these caps. Give them a wee jiggle again. Set them in order so the bearing looks beautiful. Might be a good engine after all. Okay, so removing this final cap here, I already have it half out. Much more difficult to take out that one. So when I'm putting this back in, there's going to need a piece of sealers put down this side and this side. These mating surfaces. So final removal now is this cranksail here. So I probably just, obviously I'm going to replace this too. It's quite hard of itself. So next thing now, our final thing's removing the crank. Maybe completely removing the bearings, keep them from falling out and getting mixed up when I'm holding the bores. So crankshaft. Side shims, 3 more shims in here. So we want the bearings to sit where they are, so we don't get mixed up. There we go. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm completely removing the bearings, shell bearings in the crank casing. So what I'm doing here is I'm marking them from cylinder 1 to side to the flywheel side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 3. Just in case I'm using it again, you know, which I probably obviously will be. Crankshaft wrapped up. Keep the dust off it, dirt off it. It will be washed anyway, but good order. So that's it. Okay, everyone. So I'm about to hone these 4 cylinders, 4 bores now. So I've measured the rings. I decided to put new piston rings in. The ring brand are Piston. I will do a demonstration of installing these in a wee minute, but before that I'm going to hone these 4 cylinder bores, leaving a nice crosshatch for the new piston rings to bed in, and also that crosshatch allows wee fine lines and a crosshatch for oil retaining grooves. So we're going to start here now. I need the battery for the drill. So basically I will be performing crosshatch using this tool by quickly snapping it up and down. So hopefully it works. So first things first, I'm going to bring the camera up here. So you can see in the cylinder bores there, at the top you have this. Well, I've already started this one. So you have this carbon build-up, so you don't want that when you're installing new pistons. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm also going to deglaze the bores. So starting with cylinder 1, it's important that don't go the whole way down to the bottom because you'll break off these oil nozzle jets for spraying the oil up into the bores. So I have the actual tool itself. a bit of tape on it, so we'll show you that now in action. Get this back on. Try and get a close up here. So a little bit of Wally Duffy. And away we go. Give her a wee clean. So there we go. We have a nice fine crosshatch. Might need to go a bit slower or a bit quicker on moving the drill up and down. Now we're moving on to cylinder 2, 3 and 4. And this shall run at least 4. Okay everyone, so I'm going to give the 4 cylinder bores now one final run, 10 times up and down. Nice and slow, not too fast, but rapid movements. So here we go. Oh, try and keep it in the side of the moment. Okay, so given the maintenance service of the block a nice wee clean before I start bulging the head with a sander block. Okay, ready to rock here. Cleaning the pistons, piston grooves. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break one of the rings, obviously to the ring that suits each groove, top ring, second ring and oil ring. So I'm going to use the rings to clean the carbon out of the grooves on the top of the piston there, as you can see. I should also do a wee close up of these new rings. So these are the new rings I purchased. They are Henderson rings, piston rings, a set of 4, obviously 3 for each piston. That's it. So we're going to move on here now and start cleaning these. Installing these rings using a wee special ring expander tool that's sitting here. So very handy. Okay, so we have all the piston rings took off, removed. Basically just pull them off your hands. This ring was quite tough. The top ring is it's about 4mm wide. So what I'm going to do now with these broken rings is I'm going to clean the grooves. Well, technically this one isn't broke, but do the same job. So basically just putting the ring around it with a lot of paraffin oil, scraping it around it to clean it nice and gently. Then use the second ring for the second groove and use the oil ring for the oil ring groove. And I will be using paraffin to do this. So that's it. Okay, so a wee close up here of these pistons being cleaned, or decarbed. So you can see here the piston on the right, my right hand, is cleaned already. Inside the recesses, the grooves for the piston rings, you can see this one is completely contaminated. A lot of build up carbon. So what I'm going to do here now, even though I have 2 already cleaned, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of cleaning the carbon out of the grooves in this one. So basically I'm using kerosene oil. It's already soaked in kerosene. It's quite tough to get off, but what do we see? So a broken ring. It's important, well I think it's important to use the straight edge of the broken ring rather than the sharp bit. So here we go. So you can see here I'm moving it. It's quite tough. You don't want to be digging into the aluminium itself, or the piston. So it's a slow process. Very slow process. You don't want to be using a wire brush or anything for this because you don't want to destroy the piston head. So look at that thick that is in there. It's about a mil thick. So that's a disadvantage to the running of the engine, obviously. Compression can't build up behind the ring as it should. I'll just give an example. See here in the end of the ring, look, the carbon. Okay, so a final video clip to show the cleaning of the pistons and how it's going. So you can see the 1, 2 and 3 pistons are nice and shiny now, and the grooves is decarbonized, or if that's a word. So the last piston now has to be, that looks the worst actually. So I'll have to clean that now, and then I'll move on to cleaning the engine block from the honing process and installing the crank, then the connecting rods, or sorry, the rings, and then the connecting rods, and I'll take it from there. Okay, so pistons are now cleaned. First things first, now I have to put on the rings before I can install the pistons into the engine again, so the engine block. So what I do here is with these type of rings is remove this spacer out of the oil ring first and put that on. Put a little bit of oil on it, lubricate it before you install it. Usually helps. So that's it. So basically just open it at the gap like so and sitting it over and closing it up again. So that's it, and it's a groove. Next thing is the oil ring itself. Because it's a combined ring, usually these oil rings come in two, one for either side of a spacer. This has to be expanded with the ring expanders. So that's them here. So before I go any further, I'm going to position this gap in the ring. You see here. Okay, so I finally placed all the piston rings on each piston head. So you can see we have the lower oil ring and spacer and below it. We have a second ring, we have the top ring, so all nice and clean. So next step now is taking this block out to give it a wash with paraffin oil, kerosene even. Okay, so I'm ready to install the connecting rods, pistons. So what we have done here again, we have attached these pieces of rubber to save the crank, to protect the crank even. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to put a ring compressor on this and see how it works out. Line the rings up every 120 degrees. So let me see here what way this is. So the driven pulley side, this arrow points towards it, so it's important to keep these recesses to the back of the engine. So when I slide this in here now, I'm going to put the ring compressor on it first. Okay people, so I've 3 down, 1 to go. Cylinder 4, looking good. Okay, finally, engine block is complete, ready for the sump. Sump is completely washed out. It is close to pristine as possible. Even on the outside, it's quite, I know it's contaminated or corroded. But inside it's, well, it counts, so it's ready to be screwed on here now with a bit of instant gasket, sealer, oil pumps bolted on, connecting rods all torqued, main caps torqued, looking good. Okay everyone, so washing the head and cleaning the injectors, seats and bores. So basically using this aluminium oxide wheel going up and down the cylinders or the bores or whatever you want to call them. So this is already done, but I'm going to just demonstrate what I've done here. So to keep the injectors from seizing in the future, I've cleaned the sidewalls where the injector sits down into. So like this. So just up and down, nice and easy. Cylinder 4 injector was seized completely solid. It actually had to be cut out of it by a machine shop. So now we're going to demonstrate here cutting the seats using this tool. So basically it's a special tool here for cutting the seats. It's just flat, and what I do is give it a wee turn with the impact gun. Every seat, 4 of them. A bit dirty in there, so I'm going to wash the head now, and that's it. Tappets, hydraulic tappets are all cleaned. Camshaft, everything, rockers is all cleaned, cam followers, all nice and clean. Steps grinding the valves in, and build the head itself. New valve stem oil seals after I grind the valves in, and install injectors, heater plugs, camshaft, cam followers, everything. Then we'll start with the turbo and build an engine back together. Okay everyone, so we're grinding the valves on here. So basically what I've done is I've applied a bit of this cutting compound onto the seat of the valve, or sorry, the edge of the valve, where it will meet the seat in the head. So basically putting it into the head. The first 5 valves are already done there. So this wee sucker thing needs cleaned. So basically turning the valve in the seat. Like so. Here enough. Okay, so just bring the camera up here to look at the seat. So you can see the seat's nice and clean, grinded. A little carbon removed with the grind cutting paste. Looks good. Okay, so going back over these valves now with the fine compound. So at one end we have coarse, and at the other end we have fine. So I'll just open it to demonstrate. So inside we have coarse at this end, and then we have fine. So same thing again. So if you look at this seat now, you can see it's nice and uniform, nice even colour the whole way around, so there's no dips or bumps or scores or anything in the seat, or in a bed and age then, if you want to call it, that sits in the seat. And also the seat itself is free from carbon. Let me just demonstrate that. And it is nice and even the whole way around the seat. You can see there's no bits of mist. Keeping them in order. Okay, so here we have the head. So basically just an engine gasket kit for the top end. We have a head gasket too. So the head gasket is here too. It is 1.5mm thick. That will be installed to the head, or sorry, the block, between the block and the head, when I finish building the head here now with these valve stem oil seals, and that's it. So moving on now to placing these valve stem oil seals on, pressing them on or tapping them on. Okay everyone, so what we have here is the new valve stem oil seal. The old ones are already removed. before I got the head skimmed. So the way I attach these or apply them or press them on is basically a little bit of WD-40 on the inside. Set them over the guide. Let me see if I could show this close up. It's very hard to see. So sitting over the guide there now, this socket, spark plug socket over the top of it, and tap it on nice and gently, nice and even. Yeah, it meets its home position. Hear that noise change? So that's it, fully home. That's it, finished. Okay everyone, so we've installed the valves. Giving a wee turn in the meat sink. We're going to start a new valve down my side. Okay, so we're ready to install the head here now. The block, the surface of the block, even the top surface, is clean, prepped already. With sandpaper, just is not machined or nothing. So it is also checked for any warpages and stuff for straight edge. So head gasket ready. It's important here to give the surfaces a wee clean, just to make sure any dirt or grit sitting on the surface, all surfaces. So that's okay now. So this head gasket is 1.5mm thick. It is no difference from the one that came off the head, only it's brand new. So 2 dowels is important also in the block to position the head and the head gasket. So that's the head gasket fitted in position. Pistons down to avoid any valve damage, installing the head. The head doesn't have the camshaft in it at the minute, so it doesn't really matter here, but it's good practice to keep the pistons down when you're putting the head on. To save the valves, basically it's keeping from bending the valves. So, and again now another wee clean wipe to remove any dirt or grit sitting on the surface. The next step is important, so you want to put the head on the right way. Technically, this engine is out of the van, so it's an easy mistake. The head can be put on the wrong way round. So it's good. So the exhaust port's to the back. This is the front of the engine towards me. Just keep giving the head a wee clean here with a squeeze, so we can see the machined surface there. So it's important to note the head gasket is still the same thickness as the one that came off it, but the head hasn't been significant material removed, only a nice cleaning. So we're putting this in position now. Oh, just sit it there a minute. So that's it. Next step is engine bolts, head bolts. What you want to do here is give them a wee coat of oil, just to ease the tightening process. These head bolts is tightened very tight. I think it's 20 newton meters, then 40 newton meters, and then 220 degrees, which is a lot. Quite coarse threads here. After we tighten the head, we can finish building the head itself, camshaft and hydraulic tappets and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to rattle these up with the gun, just to the meat. Well, we will turn the gun down actually to the lowest setting. So starting from the middle and working to the outside. Crisscrossing, X shape. Next step after this will be using the Fiat torque wrench to torque them up to 20 newton meters. Okay, ready for the Fiat torque wrench, wherever it is. Here we go. Hopefully this camera doesn't fall off the bench here. So setting the torque wrench to 20 newton meters. So in the Japanese cars, well the Hondas anyway, they don't use this degrees idea that the French are using. Tightening sequence, so I don't like it, so I'd set it 19 now, it'll do. So 19 or 20, 19 newton meters now from inside out. So that's them. So next step now is torquing them up to 40. This torque wrench doesn't go that high, but I will use my half inch with an adapter for the 3/8 drive. Okay, so I have this set at 40 and up. So this is going to be much more pull. So okay, so 40 is quite a lot. Is quite a lot. Now, and believe it or not, this is to be pulled from 220 degrees now, which is a lot. 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock, so 12 right round to halfway, and then another 40 degrees. So I'm just going to go over them, make sure they're all sitting at 40. Dial gauge now, instrument, the degrees gauge, clock. So the same clock that we use for tightening the main carrier bearings. The main bearings. Okay everyone, so it is 11 o'clock at night. I've been drinking vodka since 4 o'clock. I just lowered this engine off the bench and the bench tipped over. The bench is now lying out there. I smashed my Gorilla mug full of vodka and the phone is lying on the ground. So I thought I would include this in the video for a crack. So the engine had lowered off the bench and basically I was lowering it down there using that ratchet. There's a beam across the pillar there at the top. And I completely made a mess up, but I don't care, it's all fun. So the engine is now nearly touching the floor where I need it to be to torque the head down. Another 220 degrees. Okay everyone, so you can see here I have the engine on the floor. So the head has been torqued to 40 newton meters, all done in 2 stages. It now has to be pulled up to 220 degrees, so basically turning the bolt or stud from 0 right round to 220 degrees, or you could say 12 to 8 basically. So it's quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it in 2. I'm going to pull it up to 110 degrees, and then we will move on at the second stage, and we will then pull it up another 110 degrees. So it is important here to pull the head up even. So to do that, I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out in a crisscross pattern. So basically, this stud, 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 this stud. So we're going on a nice uniform balanced pressure when I'm applying the head onto the block. So now pulling it to 110, making sure the gauge is set. Bah, bah, bah. 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 So that is currently a wee bit past 110. It's okay. That's good. That's bang on. Right. Next stud. Bada. So we are over, but it's okay. Now jumping over to this side. setting the gauge again. Ah, away we go. Ah, wow! Oh my goodness, so tight. Whoa! Whoa! You need to Weetabix for this. So tight, so tight. Wow. So that's them all 110 degrees. Okay everyone, so final stages here now. Final stage. So the head has been torqued to 28 meters, 48 meters and 110 degrees. I'm now going to do the final stage, which is another 110 degrees, thereabouts. So it's a ticket to 220, and the reason I split it up is because if you can imagine pulling 220 degrees or more pressure at this point, with this head slack at the outside, it'll be much more difficult. So now that the head's pulled up to the 110 degrees, it'll take less effort in the middle here now to work its way out. Yes, so away we go. It's going to be tough here now, so sweat's going to run off me. Right. So we're set at 0. No, there now. So this is going to be tough. If I get to 90 degrees, I'll be happy. If I get to 110 or 100, I'll be even happier. It needs to be done, but right, where you go? See what I mean? It's really difficult now. Jeepers. Okay, so that there is 110 degrees. That's so tough. Right. Big poles for this. So you can see the mat down the floor this time because I don't want to score the floor in the shade. So, and the paint, away we go again. This is going to be tough. See what I mean? Better with the engine in the car. Mind my vocals there. Okay, so that's 2 done. So if you can imagine tightening this head to say 150 Newton meters, it actually wouldn't be tight enough, to be honest. I can tell by the pull of the bar, you know. Right, away we go again, last bolt. 110. Okay, so that's them all done. That is serious. So the last thing I'm going to do now is put the torque wrench on her. Not required, but I just want to see the bolts are sitting at. Just a bit dangerous doing that. I think it's because of the spring in the bolts. That's why the torque wrench is not used this high. Okay, no more guys, that's it, finished. Good job. Okay, so final stages here now of building this engine. So as you can see here, the camshaft's not installed yet. Before I install the camshaft and the cam followers, the rockers and the hydraulic tappets, I'm going to give the valves a wee tap to make sure the collets are in fact in position. I already done this before I installed the head, but I like doing it twice. So that's okay. Next stage now is installing the hydraulic tappets, putting a little bit of oil around them. So I already have these all prepped and cleaned. As you can see here, they're beautiful. They're squeezed out. You see here, if I can get it in the view, see if I can squeeze them. They're not hard and full of dirt. So, away we go. So this is number, I'm putting them back in the same order. So the head is cleaned. So that's it. Next stage now is camshaft. So I have the camshaft prepped, nice and clean. I have a new seal for it here too. A nice new seal, camshaft seal for the pulley side. So that's the vacuum pump side. Put a wee piece of oil around the bearings. The wrong way around. Sorry, I'm the wrong way around. So as you know already, the pistons are down. So I can tighten this up safely. Oil everywhere. Don't want the oil there because I have a bit of silicone on it. What I like doing at this stage is putting the little silicone on the seal. Now ready for this carrier, so it's cleaned and prepped and all ready to rock. As you can see, it goes this way. Just checking the seal here, so that's it, all sealed up. So next step now is 10 bolts. I think it's 10. Torque down to M6, so 10 Newton meters should be okay. I think it's what is in the spec sheet. So next step now is using the torque wrench. Setting these to 10 Newton meters. That's it. Okay, so just checking here. Camshaft, followers. So it's all looking good. So next step now is tightening the camshaft sprocket. So I'm going to set this to about 30 Newton meters to start with. Oh, sorry, I'll just go to 40. It's an M10 bolt, I think, so. $50. Too much. So say at 42 Newton meters, it'll be okay. So basically what I done there is I locked it with an old valve, the sprocket to the head. It's a timing tool. So I'm just going to check that again, because I'm a nut job. Let's take it off. Hey. Okay, so now we can finish off putting the injectors in. The reconditioned injectors from Germany. New seals. So obviously the previous video clips showed me cleaning the head with the injector seats, cutting new seats, and we have these new seals here, brand new, that go on to here, each one of these. So basically they just be pushed in I might put a wee bit of hydraulic sealer around them, not injectors, but where these seals meet the head, or I might just put them on dry. So that's it. So that's in my position. Next step now is injectors and the new copper washers. So these injectors is had come and they're nice boxes. They're in really pristine condition. So I had them on before, and then I took them out to build the engine. So you can see there's a bit of this discolored. The paint, the stuff that they apply onto them is not on it, but it doesn't matter anyway. I'm going to put them on the hole now, and well, first of all I need to put the new washers on it. Okay, so I have 4 new heater plugs also to go onto the head. So with a bit of anti-seize grease on the threads, these can be screwed in. That's it. The 4 injectors. Perfect. Torque to probably 10 Newton meters if even. Okay, so we're ready for the injectors here now. We have 4 new washers. We have the seats cut. We have the new seals. Top and bottom. We have the copper washers. Just throwing out the seats here. Make sure no dirt. Just right here. Just for the future. That's anti-seize grease. So injectors ready to be put into the hole here. So down through the new seal. That's it. So a 13mm socket now. And it's important not to break these bolts. They can be broke. I've seen them, they're hard, very hard and brittle. Shouldn't leak for the new seats, the new copper washers and the new seats cut even. So next step now is setting these heads. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate here. This is a special socket I have for the heads here. So basically, just slackening the top of the injector and turning the solenoid, the head, around. Take position. Okay, so the intake manifold. Look at this mess. So basically I'm cleaning the intake manifold. This is one off the second engine that came. You can see that the inlet is completely blocked. I have already scraped it, right? Used to be about 50% blocked. This one is actually cleaner even with all oil, less corrosion on it. So I should have took a picture before, I think I did, so I put pictures at the end of the whole video itself. So you can see that I have the port cleared now, but I'm going to have to put a torch down the inside of it and remove all carbon and the oil build-up, the thick oil. As you can see with kerosene, it's quite a mess, so I don't like videoing it. So I'll take plenty of pictures. So that's it. Reason being, that's probably blocked up because possibility down to the piston rings, wear in the rings themselves, high pressure down in the bottom end. off the engine. So there we go. Okay, I hope my camera doesn't go over. Let's stick it in the ground a bit. Okay, we're okay. We're stuck, man. So one day. 7 o'clock. Man. Beep beep. No, people. Yeah. Woo. That was exhausting. That was exhausting. So we have about 5 meters or 4 meters to go. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to maybe, I don't know, get another bit of carpet, see how it works out. Pop it over the van. So if I get this lifted in here now, lift it in and sort of winched up somehow. I don't know yet what way I'm going to do it, but we'll get there. Oh, up. Ooh, so heavy. Very heavy, and it's in probably weighs, I'd say 250k to 300k. Very heavy engine. Okay, so our drawers away in the hole. Okay everyone, so the van is now completed. I just have to track the steering. Before that, I'm going to try starting the engine for the very first time. So here we go. Well, that didn't work, so the battery's dead. Okay everyone, so nearly finished this van, thank goodness. So what I'm doing here is I am lining the wheels, so using this bolting cord. So basically I'm touching the back wheel at 2 points, there and there. And back wheel's towed on a wee bit, but it's okay. So then the front is more important obviously, so well, both's important, but I like the front, perfect for steering wise, so steering position. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining the bolting cord off the back wheels right up to the rim. I'm just touching the back face of the rim, you can see there that, but I'm moving it in and out. I have an axle stand here, and basically what I'm doing is I'm touching the back wheel, and at the same time when I'm touching the back, I am also touching at the front part of the rim, like so. So it is perfect there now, and doing this, I have the steering wheel in position. So I'm locked in position. So what I'm going to do now is do the driver's side, and that's it. Hopefully she'll drive nice and straight then. Okay everyone, so we have the engine, the van cleaned and the engine running. You can hear there now, bring the camera up close. Look, he's listening there. So fully rebuilt. Sounds beautiful. No knocking, no banging, no tappet noise, no tensioner pulley noise, or any timing belt pulley noises, no bearings, no worn bearings. A wee bit of the belt, a wee bit of rubber sprayed on one of the belts, so I just got a new alternator belt, power steering belt. But apart from that, it sounds good. So I'm going to do a wee walk around the final van for the final time. So before I do that, I'm just going to point out what's done to this engine. So this engine's got a full rebuild, new piston rings, all honed bores, the blocks changed, the heads changed from the one was in the van. The car now has piles of power. The car standard are 109 brake horsepower. This definitely has it now because it's 3 times faster than it was. I should point out, right, so it's got a new Turbocharger. It's got a remanufactured injector pump. It's got 4 remanufactured injectors that come from Germany. New solenoid, pressure sensor is not new, it came in the other engine that I got. So basically, even though I got another engine, I made one engine out of 2, basically. So the block was in this van was elongated with the piston bores, cylinder valves. So let me see if I bring it up close here now, let's just listen to it. So you can hear there, nice diesel knock, so there's no tappet noises. I squeezed and cleaned out the hydraulic tappets. The timing belt and tensioners are all replaced, brand new. The gates, brand. So fuel filter, everything else is changed. As I say, the turbo's done. Injector pump, injectors, piston rings, main bearings, connecting rod bearings aren't touched, but everything is carbed. So basically I've removed all the carbon off the intake manifold. I removed the carbon off the pistons using the standard rings to scrape the grooves. I have a new filter sitting here ready to go on, the last thing. You can see it there. Bark and Beck, I don't know how to pronounce that. So that's the last thing needs done. The next step now is putting a lock of tire slick on this thing. Let me see if I put this camera back on here. A lock of tire slick. So I'm just going to do a wee walk around here first before I finish up. So I forgot to mention too, there's a new clutch and new flywheel in this van, new release bearing, new gear oil, new engine oil obviously, new oil filter, fuel filter, hopefully I haven't missed anything, new valve stem oil seals, everything's replaced, the engine's completely rebuilt, that's why it sounds as it does. That engine used to run like, the engine before, used to chug and bang, more likely because of the injectors and the injector pump. So now moving around here, so we have find me on Facebook. We have all my logos, my projects, like before. I just cut my finger, look, it's bleeding, so I'm trying to not put it on the camera. So now on to the back. Deep hard, everything done today. Thought that farmer was going to stop there, so that's why I walked around the back. So my project is on my driver's side. This one is hidden for reasons. Don't want nobody to see it yet. So she's completely finished. New sills. You got, look at part 1, part 2, part 3, and I think there's a part 4 too. Well, there's really 3 main parts. They replacing all the sills and cutting all the rot out of this van, and she's immaculate now. It's all painted. The back end, that rear quarter or whatever you want to call it, that sill there, it's all changed to stainless and all shaped by hand, and very little fillers in it. I'm just going to go to the inside too. But I'll silence the music before. So silence the music here. Copyright issues. So inside finished. So the van is immaculate. We have our new steering wheel, or the Momo steering wheel. We have the runners all fixed, powder coated even. The door cut out and replaced. At the bottom here, look at part 1, part 2 and part 3 and you will see all this. We have the red leather, that came in the very first video. It didn't even call it part 1 I think. It was the initial video of doing up this van. The carpet, made the sub box and all. An inverter for charging the phone. They also all seats out of a Honda CRX. Integra Type R steering wheel, Momo, really nice. I should also point out, when I turn this music down. Okay, I should also point out, this steer now can be turned with your finger, like so. Before it was just too hard to turn, would have broke your heart. So that's it finished. We have a nice new mat to match the van itself, the colour of the van. Need to clean on here yet, haven't got round yet. So I'm going to do a wee final walk around. I need to replace the check strap in that door yet. I'm going to open up all the doors before we go any further. So, just a wee final video. What's inside? There's a quite runabout. I think this door's locked. Did you see? Okay. So handy having the 2 sliding doors. So carpet's all nicely, neatly put on there. To do a wee hoovering. She's a queer article now, isn't she? So this project's coming in 1 month. Do not miss it. It is bloody class. I'm just going to say it. So that's it. Lower this bonnet down. Do one final walk round. I need to put that filter in a wee minute when I get round to it. So the engine, you can hear it there again. It sounds like a purring kitten right here. So I'm going to go to the exhaust here too. So them runners, as I say, are all replaced, powder coated. Okay, so no smoke. How's the power in her now? As I said, I'd say she's 3 times faster than she ever was. And so that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, so final images of the whole process of removing the engine, doing up the engine bay. Well, sorry, blasting the engine bay and treating the engine bay with Dunitrol. So at this stage we're removing the engine. To do this, I basically just drop it to the ground with no engine crane. So removing the subframe and cross member, and then dropping the engine to the ground. Then that's all the components of the engine. So basically just to make the engine much more compact, even lighter, even lightweight. So now after this, I started barricading, protecting the parts of the van that I already have done up, such as the shocks, or sorry, the stubs, the shocks, the calipers and all, with them boards, ply boards, as barriers. So at this stage we're ready for blasting. At this stage it's blast it and treat it with Dunitrol. The left, a driver's chassis leg. This is the passenger's side. The bulkhead was all blasted and just where needed, just where required, and treat it with the Dunitrol. So at this stage it is also required now 4 hours drying time of this rust inhibitor, ready for the stone chip. So basically no primer, just stone chip straight on top of the rust inhibitor itself. So again, the driver's leg, sitting ready, drying, brake pipes pulled back. Just areas where I couldn't get at when the engine and the cross member and the subframe was in the van. During part 1, part 2 and part 3 of this whole process. So also when I was down this far, I also blasted the subframe at the top, and that's it. So that's it, the chassis leg now with completely finished, ready for the engine. So the engine build was next. Lots of images coming up here of detailed pictures of what I have done to the engine. So this is the engine bay completely finished, the bulkhead and chassis legs, and round where the steering rack usually would be. I should also point out the steering rack in this van, I have got a brand new one, or reconditioned, remanufactured from England. So this is a start of the engine build. So here we are replacing the turbo cartridge to what do you call it, mallet cartridge or core assembly. So it's basically identical to the Garrett one. I think it's Garrett's the genuine one on off the van. So with the simple exchange. So this is another engine that I purchased, a 2-litre HDI Peugeot engine. The old engine block I had, the cylinder bores or the walls were elongated, so shaped like an egg at the top. So it's huge wear there on cylinder 1. So what I've done is I got another engine block and just started building another engine. So at this point we're removing each piston individually, 1, 2, 3 and 4. At this point the bores, cylinder walls are honed. I have demonstrated this in the video clips. At this point we are prepping the surface of the block for the head. Here we are, the actual pistons themselves needed the carbon removed from running around the rings and the grooves, the tops of the heads of the piston. Here we have the new Hastings rings that have come from Germany. You can see the crisscross angles here on the where the honing process has left the nice sort of swirl marks on the walls. So here we have one cleaned piston head and another one that's not cleaned. You can see how bad it is. At this point we are ready for the rings, installing the rings. Here we have new rings on one piston head. So top ring, second ring and lower ring. These needed to be positioned 120 degrees apart and off the gudgeon pins and the lowered area, so it isn't perpendicular to the gudgeon pin. Okay, so at this point we are torquing down the crankshaft main caps. So basically using 1/2 inch torque wrench to the set specifications of the manufacturer. So here we have the piston ready for the cylinder, the engine block, and gently tapping it into the cylinder bore using the ring compressor and a rubber mallet. At this point we are tightening the connecting rod caps or nuts. Here we have the nice pristine sump cleaned and all ready, oil pump attached. Hydraulic lifters are cleaned using paraffin oil or kerosene. We have the cylinder head machined, just basically cleaned, skiffed, a wee light removal of aluminium. So this is how bad the valves were contaminated with carbon, and this was all cleaned before the grinding process. I think this is an intake valve because of the size of it, it's a wee bit bigger. So here we have the 8 valves, they are in awful condition. So this is the ports of the heads, but it's the exact same. So the port of the head was cleaned, decarbonized. So the rocker cover got new rocker cover gasket, so it doesn't require any sealers. So this is 2 intake manifolds. They are both in horrible shape. You can see it's so messy. I was minging for days because of this black oil soaked into the skin. So that's it. Intake manifold nice and clean there now. Make a big difference to the power of the van. So that's the 4 inlets into the head. Okay, so not that many images left now to go. So again, inlet to the main port of the manifold. You can see how clean it is there now. It used to have a 1/2 inch thickness of hard oil there. So one at the top is not cleaned and the one at the bottom is. You can see the difference. the hole size of the bore, the ports. So the big difference there, and I would look at the bar cylinder, cylinder 4, inlet is completely bunged up. And again, that's just showing how bad it was. Different angle here at this point. So one on the left is cleaned and the one on the right is not cleaned. So this is caused by high pressure in the bottom end, I believe. So this is me starting to build the engine now. Adding all the components, brackets, injector pumps, injectors, everything from that intake manifold to everything, vacuum pump, all, flywheel, fuel filter, everything. So basically when I took the engine, sliped the engine to the van, as you've seen in the videos, new crankseals too, also on both sides, flywheel side and driven pulley side. Phoebe mech, so really good, good stuff. Again, that's just the inlet off the manifold itself. So the pipe it attaches to it, how bad it was, it's probably, I'd say, about 3/4 thick oil bunged up there. That don't get that in petrol engines. Never seen it in a petrol engine in my life. So obviously just diesel and gunk and turboed engines maybe. So again, that's how clean I left it. New cranksail placed into the housing or the cover there. Same at the flywheel side. So that sail's about 100mm diameter, I think. 7mm wide. So new flywheel, solid flywheel this time, no floating flywheel that was hanging out of the van the last time. It was very rattly. So pressure plate, clutch plate, release bearing, everything replaced. This all came from Germany, it wasn't bought in this country. I bought everything together from Germany and it got sent here. So new bolts, flywheel bolts too, and also clutch plate or pressure plate bolts. You can see there's 6 of them, 6 wee small ones. And basically, oh that's right, so also gates, the tensioners were all replaced to gates, the water pump was gates, timing belt, everything is replaced to gates. You can see here in the next images coming up, it is all changed. So the van's actually quite there now, so all the tensioners are replaced. So the van's actually quite quiet now, and you can see here at the top, the camshaft pulley is locked in position for timing. Probably the most easiest engine you could ever time up. So that's the flywheel locking pin going through the block into the flywheel. So also the speedometer in this van wasn't working, so I got one off the internet and it wasn't the same brand. I've also done up the wiring loom, because the wiring loom is hanging together, as you can see there. The covers and the plastic bits were hanging everywhere, and the oil was all over the wires. So there's the engine now ready to go into the van. So you see me sliping that round in the video there. It was quite dramatic. Basically what I've done here, as you didn't see in the videos, I've winched it up, or jacked it up, sorry, into position using jacks, two trolley jacks, a couple of them old small car jacks, scissor jack sort of things, hexagon jacks, whatever you call them. Didn't take that long altogether, you know. So once you got 2 bolts in, then you can just pull it up into position. So this is a subframe that I couldn't get at when it was in the van. I only got at the bottom of it, blasting it. Anti-roll bar brackets and all was blasted, treated with rust inhibitor and painted with just using stone chip, grey stone chip. So this stone chip is over paintable, unlike the chutes you get. But I didn't bother painting it. So this is the brackets for the actual wishbones on them vans, and also the anti-roll bar bushings. New intercooler, new radiator. Radiator was already new, part 1, part 2, or part 3. The intercooler was just changed too, because all the room was all corroded. So final 6 or 7 images here, just applying a new oil, placing new oil in the engine, mobile, I think it's like mobile 1 oil. Intercooler, everything placed back in, drives all, ready to rock. Guards, everything, bumpers on, and that's it. So also new exhaust seals, Everything was changed in this van. I had new tie rod ends, new power steering rack, all reconditioned. And that's it, finished. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was very long, but a lot of detail. Thank you. Bye bye. Forgot to say, please don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you very much. Bye bye.